What the rabbis mean is that the wilderness experiences teaches that one should obey or else God will bury you. They see it as the central message of Torah, the law. God must be obeyed. It's a big deal. We also know that it is impossible to keep the law perfectly, and that is what sacrifices were for. Remember how Jack covered the atonement theology so well just a few weeks ago. So it seems pretty clear that a reasonable response to God's power is obedience based on fear. Or is it? Is fear at the heart of obedience? Is that the message of Numbers? Is that why there are so many examples of God destroying many of his disobedient people? Is this the God that we can love and trust when we find that he is ultimately saying through his messengers, "Do what I tell you to do, or else I'll kill you"? And Jesus made it pretty clear that he was not about changing the law. In fact, he spoke about how important it was, what all aspects of the law are in reference to the need for obedience. Actually, he said that one should do it even better than the religious folks were doing it at the time. Let's just read what he said in Matthew chapter 5. Beginning at verse 17. "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota, not a dot will pass from the law, until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." Whoa! But then, note that he also said something really interesting and pretty hard to understand. He said that he was the fulfillment of the law. Well, what's that all about? And I do realize that one of the explanations is that Jesus is the fulfillment, the ultimate atonement sacrifice, and by virtue of his actions, the law has been fulfilled. Basic atonement theology. I get it. But I also wonder if there isn't even more to it than that. Is it possible that obedience is not based on fear? Could it be based on something else entirely? Is there something at the heart of obedience that is even the direct opposite of fear? And that's what I want to talk to you about this morning.